Hi, today I want to talk to you about the Section 202 Housing for the Elderly grant. This grant will allow eligible applicants. There are currently three eligible applicant types, which are 501c3, 501c4, and consumer cooperatives. Those are the eligible applicant types. This grant will allow these eligible applicants up to $5 million in a capital advance. So the $5 million will contribute to 10% of the applicant's total development costs to buy, renovate, rehabilitate, build, reconstruct, a multifamily development for low income seniors. So, low income seniors are defined as 62 years and older. So, after the building has been purchased, renovated, rehabilitated, reconstructed, or built, HUD will contribute 75% of the operating costs to the building. And HUD is assuming that the residents' contributions to their rent, which they want the applicants to calculate it as a 30% of their gross income, will contribute to the other 25% for the operating costs. So, this is a great funding opportunity for you to pursue. So, you can request up to $5 million towards 10% of your total development costs. So, that begs the question, where will you get the other 90% of your total development costs, since HUD will be giving you 10% from this Section 202 grant in a capital advance? Well, HUD is saying that they will give you a few options that you can use that are eligible for this grant. So they will allow you to use a 9% low income housing tax credit allocation. That's one option. You can also use a pricing letter for an anticipated allocation for a 4% low income housing tax credit. You can also use other grant funding sources for the 90%. You can use a loan with reasonable terms. You can also use deferred developer fees. You can use the donation of land or your land appraisal. And you can also use reasonable income reasonable income from the development. So these are all viable options that HUD will want you to use or is asking you to use. And they also say any other reasonable funding options you can use. So definitely look into this grant because, as we know, housing for the elderly, there is an extreme need in the nation for housing for the elderly. And this Section 202 grant is a great funding opportunity for you to request 10% of your total development costs. So that 10% can be up to $5 million towards your total development costs. Then you can use the other funding sources that I just listed for the other 90%. And then after the multifamily building is in operation, HUD will fund you 75% in the operating costs. Of course, there is a operating cost schedule based on your area that HUD has published. And so it's based on that allocation for your area. They will fund you 75% of that amount. And then the residents' rent, the residents' contribution to their rent will fund the other 25%. So, this is a great funding opportunity that a lot of people do not know about it. And so, I would like to spread the word that this is a great funding opportunity that you should take full advantage of so that one, you can increase your housing stock, and two, you can provide housing for the people who need it the most, low income seniors, where there is an extreme shortage for low income housing for low income seniors today. So definitely look into this $5 million Section 202 housing for the elderly grant.